Open mic. We're going to start with our open mic policy. And the open mic policy session is designed to provide an opportunity for citizens to express their views on matters of concern to the school committee. The sessions are not designed to encourage debate or lengthy exchange of views, but are to have the committee understand numerous points of view. The committee would appreciate speakers keeping their presentations to 3 minutes in order to accommodate as many people as time permits. The chair reserves the right to limit the number of speakers on the same topic to 3, and all speakers must be at least 18 years old or enrolled in high school in the Lynn Public Schools District and having discussed their views with a student government representative. The chair reserves the right to speak the ruler out of order if he or she feels that speakers' comments are personal in nature, and if a speaker's comment are directed at a school committee member or a member of the school administration in attendance, that member, through the chair, may address the individual. The session will promptly commence 15 minutes prior to the start of the regular school committee meeting. So, if people signed up would like to come forward to speak, I'll give you a sheet of paper, call them up, and ask them to state their name and address, and if no one has signed up. I know. And if no one signs up, I'll just have to ask 3 times. Did anybody sign up?
No.
Okay.
Would anyone like to?
Is anybody here that would like to sign up to speak in open mic? Is anybody here that would like to come up and speak in open mic? Is anybody here that would like to come up and speak in open mic? So now we're going to close open mic, and we're going to go into the agenda. So we're going to have the second regular meeting of the school committee, January 8th, 2026. Could we all please, those that can, could you please stand?
Roll call.
Oh, wait, I forgot roll call. I was jumping it. Trying to rush. I would like to call to order the second regular meeting of the school committee. Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Present.
Member Gately?
Present.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Present.
Member Pena?
Present.
Member Sadowite?
Present.
Member Smith?
Present.
Mayor Nicholson? Absent.
Please rise.
At this time, could everybody please rise if you're able and salute the flag?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could you please stand for a moment of silence in memoriam for some really wonderful people that I know that I worked with in this school department in memoriam. Peter Costas Loomis, retired teacher on December 20th, 25. Julia O'Hare, retired teacher on December 29th, 2025. Christine McCarriston, teacher on January 8th, 2026. Mary Latour, retired teacher on January 15th, 2026. Glenna Moriarty, retired cafeteria worker on January 16th, 2026. And Carleen Fields, retired teacher on January 22nd, 2026. Thank you. Minutes?
I make a motion to move forward for the first special meeting on, we had the first special meeting held on January 5th, 2026. Make a motion to approve. Also, I'm gonna bundle it with the second, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna, and then first regular meeting on January 2026.
Second.
Roll call.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Sadowite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson? Absent.
Okay, so then we get to, there is no ratification of subcommittee, no appointments, so presentation. Superintendent Cohen.
Yes, this evening I am inviting our new Deputy Superintendent, Lori Gallivan, to present the recommendations for the program of study for 2026-2027.
Sorry about that. So thank you. We wanted to present to you tonight for our recommendations for the program of studies for the 26-27 school year. Our objective really is just to show you tonight an overview and to demonstrate the alignment with the district strategic plan as well as with the Lynn Public Schools vision of a graduate, and to highlight some changes and program enhancements that we're recommending for the 26-27 school year. So for those of you who haven't been a part of this before, this is an annual update to ensure that the curriculum reflects student interests, college and career readiness, and workforce needs, as well as to make sure that it has a balanced focus on academics, the arts, science, and career and pathways, and to make sure there's an emphasis on relevance, rigor, and access for all students. I know this is small in writing on this page, so you all have a copy in front of you, but just to point out that when the Lynn Public Schools District Strategic Plan was designed, it was designed with an intent on making sure it had lasting impacts on student learning. Just a couple of examples that students in Lynn will possess the academic ability and skills to be globally competitive by meeting and exceeding grade level expectations in reading, math, science, and social studies. Another example, that students, families, and staff will experience the district and their schools as places of inclusion and belonging. And we wanted to make sure that we're representing that through our program of studies that we're offering our students. The program of studies is also designed to foster the development of the public schools vision of a graduate, to make sure that students that are graduating from the Lynn Public Schools are critical thinkers and problem solvers, that they're engaged community members with a global mindset, that they're effective communicators and leaders, and that they're continuous learners who are empowered to design their own paths. Just a few points of clarification in regard to the graduation requirements and what's new. In this next year, the one change is that history and social science will begin to be a required course for the 2027 graduates. So you'll see an additional courses in the history area with the 3-year requirement. The following year in 2028, the arts requirement will come into play, and next year we'll be presenting more on that. There's no changes to the actual graduation credit requirements. It's still 95 credits. This year, our students who are graduating in the spring will have the 4-year math requirement reflected in their graduation requirement. And as presented to you at an earlier time by Attorney Gallo, the middle school coursework, some of the middle school coursework has been certified as part of the graduation requirements that might be possibly accepted in some areas of math, world language, and the arts. And there's still the flexibility and exceptions for full years or semester options that remain at the CVTE, and special education exceptions are reaffirmed that are still in the graduation requirements. And there's no change to the PE or competency determination requirements for next school year. So we have a few recommendations. In art and music, it has been recommended to add a public art and contemporary mural design, to add a piano 4, a music exploration 2, an all-city marching band, and an all-city concert band as semester-long courses at the high school level. And there's a recommendation to add an all-city jazz band for grades 9 through 12 as a full-year course. In history and social sciences, there is a lot of interest in adding these courses, a history of American pop culture, for a full year. The trial by jury, exploring the legal system, which would incorporate the mock trial process into that full year course. A history of sports in the United States for 10th and 12th graders as a full year course, and the honors, genocide, and human rights for 11th and 12th graders at all 3 high schools. And health and physical education, there's a recommendation to add a strength and conditioning semester-long course. As many of you know, the Lynn English and LVTI weight rooms were all updated this year, and classical is in the process of being updated. So hopefully we're hoping that there'll be some interest in this course going forward. In science, the clean energy, engineering, and construction science for grade 11 at English and classical. It's recommended as a full year course. This is part of the Mass CEC grant that Mrs. Gardner had presented earlier that they had gotten, and they're hoping for some real interest in this new subject area. And then in world languages, recommending offering a French 2 as a full year course next year, as well as French for French speakers. Computer science, our cybersecurity 1 course has a lot of interest, so there is a recommendation to add cybersecurity 2 as a full year course. And then the career and academic planning courses. These, again, go back to the presentations that you've seen earlier from Mrs. Gardner and some of the other grant specialists who have done work on looking at starting an employability course as a semester-long course at English and Classical, as well as a driver's education course. It would not involve the actual driving. It would be the course requirement work that needs to be done prior to for an allotted number of students that are in the grant. As well as an introduction to business and digital literacy as a full year course, and a career vocational technical education course. And the last piece here is reinstated courses and the removal. We are recommending removing the AP Research for Capstone Diploma for grade 12 only because it was not offered this year to any 11th grade students. So there's nobody that would qualify to take it. But we are recommending that we offer the AP seminar next year for grade 11. So hopefully we'd be coming back in 27, 28, looking to put that capstone back in if it would pertain to some of our students, if we have kids that take it. We've also had a request to reinstate the ELA semester courses for horror and literature, Latin American literature, and world mythology and science fiction, where 2 of those semester-long courses could count as an English course in 11th and 12th grade for those who have passed the earlier competency determination requirements in English. So that's really what we have for you today. The assistant curriculum directors were fabulous in working with me and working to bring all this to the forefront, working with the department heads and the program specialists and the principals and guidance to bring forward these recommendations. Happy to take any questions that I might be able to answer, and if I can't, I will bring back an answer.
Lenny, Andrea, and Brian. Anyone else? Okay. All right, Lenny. Mr. Pena.
Thank you.
Member
Thank you.
Pena.
It's okay. Thank you, Laura, for the presentation. I had a few questions myself.
Sure.
Wondering, do you have any data where the kids are in reading, and wondering if they're exceeding in math and reading? Do you have that data?
I
Is that available?
I don't have it right in front of me. We can definitely provide it. We look at it on a regular basis, especially with some of the iReady benchmark assessments. We're just finishing the mid-year assessments. So we're looking at the early fall and the midwinter now to understand where our students are, what strides they're making. But I could definitely bring some back for a future meeting.
Maybe you can have Mary send it to me, please. I'm
Sure.
just interested to see it, especially with multi-language, learners. I'd like to know. Also, what specific vocational courses are they all available for the classical and English for, school, or are there specific vocational courses?
They're going to be specific to the pathways that were designed in the grant that they wrote. So you'll have to be a part of the pathways that, and I don't know if Shannon wants to speak to it or not, but students that enter these pathways will have the chance to take the driver's education course, will have the chance to take the digital literacy course. But they'll have to be a member of the pathway and make a
Okay.
decision on that.
So they have to be members of the, okay.
Yes.
And, Jesus, I can't, like, the art courses, will they be available for all the, for all the, oh, gee, I can't even remember, I can't even read my, I don't
Well, I
even
can
have
tell you
my.
this, all the courses that we're recommending
Mhm.
will be available based on student choice, right? If
Yeah.
they're put out there and we have the interest levels, we're gonna do our best to offer based on the numbers that are interested in joining these courses, whenever possible. And, you know, it all depend, of course, it's gonna run based on class size and teacher need.
Okay, so class size obviously has a.
Yeah, the interest from the courses, if there's enough students really interested, then we're gonna do our best to find a way to make it run.
Thank you.
Member Satterwhite?
Thank you, Deputy Gallivan. Just a couple questions that I had. How will the district ensure that English learners and students with disabilities that are actually enrolled in and complete this advanced coursework, and that they don't just meet eligibility, that they actually complete it? What data will you publicly report to prove that this is happening?
Just want to ask for a little bit of clarification. So for students that are actually choosing to go into one of the particular courses or any courses?
Any course for these that you're offering now?
So, I mean, any of the courses will require, you know, our regular requirements, passing requirements. So, but all accommodations necessary for any students at any time will be put in place.
Okay.
Both through the district curriculum accommodation plan, as well as any IEPs or any other 504 documents or anything like that that need to be followed. I don't know if Molly wants to add.
If I may. We're right now putting together a professional development council, and we'll be presenting a professional development plan in the end of the spring. I will say, though, you know, sneak peek, a big function of that, the professional development will be around scaffolding and differentiating to ensure that multilingual learners have access to rigorous grade level standards and courses. So we're going to be focusing on educating our educators on how to support students to maintain the rigor at the grade level with the supports they need to be able to demonstrate that kind of success. So that is a major focus area in the professional development plan that we'll be rolling out for a couple of years.
Awesome. You kind of answered half of the second question I had. I was wondering, what is the concrete staffing and professional development plan that we had to support these new courses? And with especially the world language and computer sciences and all the specialized electives, and what happens if we can't staff them at the level of rigor that's being promised? Do you want me to take that?
Well, I mean, we know that we're gonna have the rigor in the courses designed and ready to implement. If we have the interest from the students and the number of students, then I'm sure we're gonna be ready for it. I don't know if there's something you wanna add in regard to that.
Well, I just want to talk about the timeline. So the reason why we present the program of studies now for your approval is so that we can immediately start opening those course requests for students, and we can see the number of students who are expressing interest. So then we know by the spring what courses we're going to be able to run based on that, on the class size.
So who picked these courses? Were like any of the how was the students' interest like incorporated in picking these?
Yeah, there was a lot of conversations back and forth, like I said, with the assistant directors in curriculum, with the department heads, the guidance department, with some conversations with the students and the principals to generate engagement. We're trying to create courses that we know kids want to take and want
Great.
to be a
So
part of.
And
student
prior
voices.
to Deputy Superintendent Gallivan's presence in our district a few years ago, when we rolled out those elective courses, as you'll recall, those were based on student surveys. So those courses were developed based on student survey data that we received.
Awesome. So I want to know what student voices. My next question is, what is the long-term like funding plan to sustain these programs? Because with any new programs comes additional staffing, resources, all that. I'm just wondering, with the shifts in the state and federal funding, how are we going to sustain this program?
Well, again, I think the biggest piece is going to be finding out who wants to take what, and then using our staff and their areas of specialty and areas of certification to determine which ones we're able to offer based on that, because we, as you said, we want to have high-level rigorous courses to offer. So that's all going to come into play, and the funding is going to be forthcoming in the next few weeks.
So the funding is an additional. So the program of studies is our core instruction. These are the courses that will be running. Our funding is provided by the number of students that we have. That determines our staff numbers, and then this document determines the courses that we're actually going to be running. So they're not additional courses. They are the courses.
And then just lastly, sorry, what specific outcomes will the committee see beyond the credit completion to determine whether these program changes are improving student learning and closing equity gaps? And when can we expect to see or review this data?
Well, I mean, we'll be coming to you and presenting data around our student achievement, and I think that's part of where we're going to see it, right? As well as in future AP and MCAS scores and the ongoing assessments that we're looking at putting in place and having teachers use to drive their instruction. And I think we could come back at any time throughout the year to bring forward information on different areas within the curriculum.
Yeah, and if I may, I just want to jump in and thank you for that question, and thank you for bringing that to the committee's attention. It is imperative that we are looking at the success of our students in achieving rigorous instruction. So I'm very thankful. It's not about seat capacity. It's not about how many students are in an AP course or how many students are in early college courses. It's about students successfully completing those courses. So the AP courses we can show, those are on the DESE profiles. They're present right now. You can see our AP results. And similarly, we were just having a conversation with Dr. Gardner around the GPA that's required in the early college courses, and that those are following the higher education standards. But we'll be bringing more. I'm very thankful that you're asking that, because we should be pushed to show that our students are prepared for higher education or career pathways after high school. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Member Castellanos.
So thank you. As actually, you answered some of the questions. Member Sadoway, I shared some of those questions. I have more of some clarification questions around the career and academic planning. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what employability is, career, vocational, technical education? Like when we talk about career and academic planning, driver's ed makes sense. It's self-explainable. Introduction to business and digital literacy. If you could just elaborate on the 3 minus the driver's ed, please, kind of break that down. Dr. Gardner, could you? And before we elaborate, I'd like to know why were these the ones that were selected? Because I remember the pathways that were brought before us a while ago. I know you guys worked really hard. Sounds like you gathered input from council, from guidance, from obviously the department heads and so forth. But I'd like to hear a little bit more about that workforce development piece and how we're going to scaffold career readiness programming, because it does get pricey, and how we're going to sustain it is very crucial.
So those courses are from a very large grant from the Mass CEC. And so part of the pathway that was developed kind of follows like a CTE pathway like they have at Tech. So as part of what the kids do in the program is they're going to have to fulfill a 100-hour internship. So the employability class is designed and developed to give them success within that field. Within that internship. So they're ready. They know how they should appear. They know about their timeliness. Anything you can imagine that makes you a successful employee, they're going to be learning within that class. They're also going to be doing things like job interview skills, resume writing. They're going to be doing all the preparation that you do to become part of the workforce. So, but that's like a half-year prep course, and then there's a half-year driver's ed, the written part, and that's just to get kids some of the way there, because driver's ed can be a very expensive barrier. We can't do the driving school, the physical driving school part, so that will be a cost for students, but it's something along the way. And then there's going to be a full year science course with like a clean energy overlay so that they understand the field of clean energy. Clean energy was selected because it is one of the most in-demand, up-and-coming employment fields.
What were some other, I guess, options for, I guess, what were some other pathways that, because if this is successful, I would imagine we could elaborate more, or what are some other, I'm thinking about the criminal justice field with, I think it was EMS. I think there were some conversations around that a little bit, but it might fall into employability. I guess we can get experience. You said internships, co-ops.
I can say something a little bit about how we're like selecting the paths because, I mean, for English and classical, we don't have the big CTE areas like I talked about before. So we'll have like, we're looking for classroom spaces that we can use. So in addition to clean energy, we have the business technology pathway that leads into lots of different fields related to business technology. Almost any sort of office job that you can think of has some of that connected into it. So when we're also looking, we consult with Principal Gallo, who's the CTE director of the district. So we consult with him to make sure that we're selecting and we're kind of even with our choices of what we select for English and classical.
That's wonderful. And my last question is around how are we going to quantify and gather data? How are we going to cultivate the metrics of success? So with all these different academic and career planning initiatives, how are we going to capture that? And I believe are there any clauses or contingencies that are connected to the grant funding? Do they want specific like processes that we have to go through to collect data, or is it just here's the money and go at it? Which I doubt that.
Usually we just have to do regular grant reporting as to what we did each year and to fulfill the plan that we laid out for that the money is funding. But I mean, we should be looking at outcomes like how many students left with a career or a job prospect related to the field that we entered. I mean, the pathway that we designed, and you know, that could be like they go on to higher ed for business school after they take the business technology pathway. It might not be right into the employment field, but it could be that they enter right into the employment field.
Thank you.
Member Smith.
Thank you very much. I have a logistical question just for some context about the all-city band, the jazz band class. That wasn't a class before. That's been purely an extracurricular after school, or okay, interesting. And same with the mock trial. That's been an extracurricular after school. That's wonderful. One of my questions is, you know, in order to do that properly, whether it's a mock trial competition or the all-city band playing at the inauguration, there's going to be outside of class time. If this is moved now to a teacher in a regular classroom, is that teacher still going to receive a stipend for their time outside of the classroom? You know, as I assume they have been.
I have the labor lawyer right next to
Right,
me.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
yeah, okay,
People
excellent.
will be paid
Yeah.
for their time.
Yeah, no, that's just a logistical, because if it's
Yeah.
moving into a classroom, you know, I wouldn't want that, you know, counting in the contract. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Member Ortiz McGrath.
Thank you. So thank you for sharing the program of studies. So as I look at the strategic plan, you know, one of the focus areas is inclusion and belonging. So as the district works on diversifying access to APs and honors courses, I have a question in regards to, do you have data currently that you can share with us that gives us the demographic breakdown in regards to who is accessing the AP and honors courses, and then what is the level of preparation that is happening to support that level of access and inclusion and creating more equitable opportunities for some of our students who may not necessarily be academically there yet, but really want to explore and work towards accessing an AP and honors course.
Yeah, I think Ms. Cole.
I was just looking at that data the other day with Dr. Gardner. So we fall demographically how we fall. So 73% of our students, it varies a little bit. So if we have 73% of our students are Hispanic, about 71% of our students are in early college or AP classes. If there were some little bit of interesting patterns in terms of Black, African American, and white, they pop up a little bit in FDCA. They might be a little bit lower in Lynn English or Lynn Classical, but it was by a percentage point or something like that. So demographically, they represent across the board. But the second portion of your question is what's more important to me, is about the preparation for going into the advanced classes. And given the new graduation requirements and the direction that we're moving in that, combined with the competency determination requirements, we're looking now towards middle school to ensure that some of those courses, like Algebra 1, are truly at the high school level so that we can count it on their transcript, and advanced students by starting in like honors geometry in grade 9. And so our focus in the next few years is how do we build that rigor in the middle school to truly prepare the students for AP and early college.
Excellent, thank you. And then my second question in regards to the demographics, so I appreciate that explanation. I was more leaning towards some, for example, our special education students who might want to access an honors course. So I'd be really interested in looking at some of that data to see who are the students that are actually accessing the courses and if they're given the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. The opportunity is there, but I don't think that we have the supports. So Dr. Kallela is here now, and it is something that is heavy on our minds in terms of having enough time for the supports in those classes. Our inclusion minutes we're stretched, right, with our students, with servicing students with disabilities. And so being able to accommodate as many blocks as we need to accommodate for our students is tricky. It is certainly a conversation as we go into the budget season for staffing. If if we increase special education students to be able to provide that support in AP and early college, I absolutely think that is an imperative discussion to have. But we don't block access. So when students are in those courses, we do provide the access. But I think that we could build a wider bridge.
Excellent, thank you.
I want to thank you for this presentation. Most of my members already asked my questions, and I thank them for those wonderful questions. And thank you.
You're welcome. And if anything comes up after the fact, feel free to reach out or email me, and I'll send it your way.
Okay, next on the agenda is the Program of Studies from CASA with Dr. Gardner and Chris Knockham, Superintendent. That's right.
You turn that on?
It was just like that.
Okay.
It's never ending.
Evening, everybody. Do we have the PowerPoint?
We're going to put it up right now,
Okay.
yep.
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir. All right. Mess up. Mila's legs are getting long. Her legs went bees, bro. She runs now. She runs. She's a unit.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. We're going to do this in 3 parts. I'll do a quick introduction. Dr. Gardner will talk about the pathways and elaborate a little bit more. And then we have some pathways that are still in development that we just wanted to preview that Mr. Rosa has been spearheading. And then we'll wrap up. I'll wrap up the end with what we're calling our STEAM blocks. And just want to note that tomorrow, the last school day of January, marks the 5th month that CASA has been open. So we're very excited and still very young. And we're learning as staff and families and students, we're learning together. and really excited about the Flex Day and the STEAM blocks that we're piloting for the district, and the interdisciplinary planning. Our mission statement is that CASA inspires designers and artists to use creativity, critical thinking, and experimentation to imagine and cultivate a future vested in community. And we've been innovating and iterating on our project-based learning. And then particularly our next slide is, I just want to talk a little bit about the humanities courses. So I know last year, Dr. Gardner came through and presented the humanities courses for CASA. So right now we have grade 6 and grade 9, or humanities 6 and humanities 9. So in this presentation is part of adding a humanities 7th grade, humanities 10th grade. These are full year courses where we blend ELA and history. And as we've been developing these, the district has a consultant that's been working with us. And part of that contract is a humanities coach. And that coach has been working with our 2 humanities teachers. We're mapping these courses with the investigating history, study sync and amplify, but just doing the best work we can to merge them together. Part of this is including teacher voice, because we're iterating as we go, and like looking ahead. And I think in this, I'm not sure if you have the hyperlink, but just want to highlight what we're proposing for Humanities 7 for next year would be a course titled Lynn History, Looking Through Lynn. So that definitely matches with our mission statement to be vested in community. That's just a touch on the humanities courses. For the high school students, those are mapped to graduation requirements. We have the same graduation requirements as English and classical. So we're mapping this 9th grade course to ELA. And then the students will have 10th, 11th, and 12th grade to make sure they get all of their history requirements in. So that's just a bit on the humanities courses. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Gardner to talk about the first 2 innovation pathways before Mr. Rosa picks up the other 4.
Thank you. I'm just here to discuss the 2 innovation pathways that we're working on right now for CASA, and these are formal DESE designations that we're working on. And again, they have a similar structure to what I've already been explaining, where students learn about their field, and they take some technical courses related to the subject area, and then at least 2 advanced coursework options. And then they also do another 100-hour internship. So that's just to give you a little framework. So the first one is information technology. And for that, we have, can we advance to this slide? We're offering some technical courses in computer science and computational thinking and problem solving. And then there will be 2 advanced courses required. One will be AP Science Principles, and the other 2 will be AP Computer Science A and AP Cybersecurity. So we're building the foundation for computer science, and then with the choice of AP Computer Science A and AP Cybersecurity, they kind of make a branching choice. So if they're going into computer science A, they're becoming deeper like programmers. If they're going into AP Cybersecurity, they're more involved with security and networking. So there are also lots of electives connected to this so that students can get a kind of a broad-based exposure to the field. And then again, there will be, we don't have it because we haven't moved up to that grade level, but there will be an employability course and then a work-based learning and a capstone in this too. Okay. And then we talk about some of the certifications that are possible. There's many certifications, and we include those. That doesn't mean we'll do them all, but these are what's possible as we plan the pathway. And then moving on to advanced manufacturing for engineering. So this pathway is under the umbrella of advanced manufacturing, but our focus on this pathway is engineering. If it were like a CTE pathway, it would be a full-blown manufacturing with heavy machinery. But in this pathway, we are focusing on the field of engineering. So can we move to the courses? So for the technical courses that will be required, they are Project Lead the Way courses, Introduction to Engineering Design, and Principles of Engineering. What's wonderful about the program at CASA is that we are using Project Lead the Way in grades 6, 7, and 8. So they already get exposure in a really planned way, so that they already have a knowledge base, so that when they're presented with actually both of these pathways, they will understand what they're opting into. So that's really nice to have that 6 to 12 pathway right there. The advanced courses will again be AP Computer Science Principles, because computer science is also part of the engineering field. And then we plan to offer Civil Engineering and Architecture, another Project Lead the Way course. There are electives that relate to computer science that they can take, and then also an employability course, and then a work-based learning again. So those were the things that I had to present for CASA, and I'll turn it over to Lynn DeRosa, the program specialist for CASA.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Lynn DeRosa. I'm the program specialist at CASA. I am going to, I keep thinking I can control it up here. It's on the remote. I am going to talk about the other pathways that are in our packet here. These would be for next year, but we would be beginning them, whereas the first two pathways that you just heard about would be our priority pathways moving forward into next year. These other pathways are things we would like to build out slowly, starting with environmental science. I believe Dr. Gardner mentioned earlier that the environmental science pathway is, or career is an upcoming career sector, and would be a great way for our students to engage in some of our natural resources that we have here in Lynn. At CASA, we really want to push using community partners, so working with folks on how we can enhance clean energy and get our students really involved in the Lynn community in that way. The other three pathways are really what put the A in STEAM at CASA, thinking about the arts and thinking about our students that are interested in taking that path through college or career. So we have visual communications, radio and television broadcasting, and performing arts, entertainment, and design. We have a lot of students currently who are so excited about taking 2D and 3D art classes and really getting engaged in their music classes. And we really want to take that excitement and propel it forward and make sure that our students feel heard and seen as they continue through their education through middle school and through high school. So our visual communication pathway would would focus on getting our students to become graphic designers, marketers, work in branding, really up and coming and exciting careers that students could be a part of. Thinking about things like web designing. A lot of our students are currently invested in a Wednesday Flex Day game design course. So we're seeing a lot of interest in this type of classes and these subjects, and we want to capitalize on that. Potential course offerings. Some of these advanced courses already exist in LPS, and some we would need to build out. We have the same setup as the two technical required courses and the two advanced required courses, trying to maintain that structure for all students regardless of pathway. Radio and television broadcasting. We are hopeful that in the future, and based on some of the plans that we've seen for some of the remodeling this summer, we will have some space for podcasting, some space for music and audio engineering, potentially a MIDI lab. So those types of careers would be what students who took the radio and television broadcasting pathway would be a part of eventually. Again, these pathways are to be built out over time, so they're not directly for next year, but students could start taking classes working towards these pathways. Then some of the potential course offerings, really thinking about how students use the arts like music theory and the real theoretical based pieces of art to help themselves through these pathways, through this pathway. And then last, but certainly not least, as a former theater teacher, my favorite here, the entertainment and design pathway, where we are seeing a high excitement about our Performance Wednesday Flex Day class right now. A lot of specifically our 6th graders and a lot of our 9th graders are very into performing. We're working with Company One right now, and they're excited about what they're doing in those classes, studying some text and then interpreting it how they might interpret it. With the help of our teachers and then the Company One specialist. These are for students who would like to either take these courses and go into the college pathway of theater or dance, music, any type of performance, potentially stage design, lighting, the technical field of production. And then these are some of the classes we have suggested. Again, a lot of these things are offered in the comprehensive high schools, like stagecraft and theater arts already, so this would just be bringing that over to CASA. I did skip over some of the outcomes. I'm sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. So they are in your packet, and truly these pathways would be designed for our students who are focused on the arts and who do want to push themselves out of, get the experience in high school and then push themselves as they go into the college and career world.
Okay, and then we want to talk a little bit about our STEAM block. So in this current school year, we have STEAM Block 6 and STEAM Block 9 in the program of studies. So we're looking to add for grade 7, grade 10, and then what this might look like beyond. So we are running these on our Wednesday Flex Days. These are extended blocks. They are interdisciplinary blocks where it's different cross-sections of teachers leading it. Trimester 1, we had 3 teachers with about 50 students, so it's 3 different disciplines. This trimester, we have 2 teachers with about 25 students, so it's 2 different disciplines to really innovate, experiment, but then also to give students that experience. What we're really striving for is to give agency in the student voice. So they have been able to select which blocks that they want to take. And then once they're in that block, there's infinite ways they could design and create a project, right? It's not just a single project for 20 students. It allows for collaboration, and it pushes students to really think critically and creatively. In this, we are pushing public displays of learning. So at the end of the trimester, students share out for their peers and teachers what they designed and developed. And as we grow, that'll become more of a public exhibition. We're actually doing one at the end of trimester 2 that'll be open to the public, but trimester 1, we did it internally. And what we're striving for is grades 6 to 8 as we grow would be truly exploratory, where they get to do a lot of different things, try different things on, figure out what they like. And then grade 9 would be a much more structured. So these are just some examples of what we did trimester 1. We called it biomimicry. We did a fairy tale performance. We did a 3D art, and then with our world language teacher, creating alebrijes. So this is just to give you a taste of the interdisciplinary, like project-based learning. But then as we grow, like I said, 6th to 8th grade would be exploratory, trying everything. We want to move to iterating on currently 9th grade and giving it more structure by trimester. So, next year, our 9th graders coming in would spend trimester 1 doing community connections, how to get involved in not just the school community, the school district, but the city of Lynn and beyond. Then they'd move into trimester 2 to learn skills of project management. How do I give myself a timeline? How do I meet deadlines? How do I resource map and figure out what my peers might be able to help with, my other teachers could help with? And then by the end of that, trimester 3 doing speaking and presenting, which then opens up to grade 10 through 12. Just to put it in a nutshell, like Shark Tank, we imagine our students as they grow, they would be sitting in a panel of community members like this, pitching the projects and getting feedback and approval from that panel by the time they're in 12th grade. So it would be scaling that up. And then those would be capstones that the 11th and 12th graders would be working on through these STEAM blocks on Wednesdays. It develops the entrepreneurship skills, the engineering pathway that Dr. Gardner talked about, where it'd be like reverse engineering, where it wouldn't be like the machine engineering, but like how do I solve a problem? How do I iterate on the problem-solving process? Just really, again, like we don't have 11th and 12th grade fully designed yet, but we're coming here just to give you, how we see this growing, but specifically looking for like grade 7 and grade 10 for next year. So that's our presentation on the unique things going on at CASA, and any questions that we might be able to answer?
Okay, any questions? Hold on, let me get the numbers. Okay. Do you have any questions, Mr. Member Pena?
I didn't raise my hand.
I know, that's why I was wondering.
Oh, no, I didn't raise my hand.
Member Castellanos.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Similar to the last question I asked Dr. Gardner, I think she answered about the metrics of how we're going to quantify the success, the metrics. With all these pathways and courses, how are we going to, what's your cultivation process look like? How are we going to know it's successful? Sounds good, but how do we know? And
Yeah.
What's your game plan?
Yeah, so starting small, right? So we're starting with the advanced manufacturing and the computer science. That's what we're currently writing the grant for. We polled 9th graders, and the advanced manufacturing was the number one. It was 52% of our students said they want to go into that pathway. And so, that's success right there. Like, students want to take it. We're starting small, so we have the teachers to offer those classes next year, and we grow from there, especially as facilities grow too, right? And so that's where we want to start. The other 4 pathways that Mr. Rosa presented would be, 3, 4+ years out, but we're starting to put together those classes. One, as we build facilities, as we hire new teachers, as we get bigger enrollment, to start going in that direction. Those other 4 pathways could evolve, but the advanced manufacturing and the computer science, we have the staff now to offer them. Those would be full-year courses that the students would take as 10th graders, and then they would be new courses to offer incoming 9th graders.
Now, with the growth, are you looking to increase staff capacity?
Like capacity as in like being able to
Teachers,
teach
program
both?
specialists, all of the above. Are you guys looking for, like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I hear you say capacity.
What are you
like,
anticipating? I guess, what's your estimate? What are you looking at, like, add-ons? Are you looking at more teachers, principals, obviously not principals, sorry,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, so
VPs, structural, you tell me.
When CASA as a concept was presented to school committee, it was understood to be an annual roll up from 6 and 9 into 7 and 10, 8, 11, and 12. And so it would be an incremental growth as they roll up. So the students, we would staff according to the number of students that are in the grade levels.
And now I'm going to ask the other side of the question where I have to be very honest, is we're up against a really stiff fiscal forecast.
Yep, and so
How
we're,
are we
yep,
prepared
that's
for that?
absolutely. Tonight, we're discussing program of studies for these pathways and for these classes. As we go into and through the budget process, certainly we'll be looking at different scenarios and propositions.
So part of those propositions, I imagine you guys have alternative. You have, are you guys building out contingency planning through,
No,
for
CASA,
CASA, is that what you? is that-
yeah, so the CASA folks are building up CASA.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they're presenting the program of studies to do that.
Can I say something real quick? Just because I think about this with pathways, is that there's only a certain finite number of blocks in a schedule. And every one of those we need to fill with education. So, we might be building new pathways, but it's about what you're selecting to put in the blocks. And then students make their choices about what they want to be in, and those are the classes that run, as they were talking about before. So it's not necessarily more teachers, it's just what you're choosing to put in the blocks.
That's a great analogy. Thank you.
Who is it? Member Smith?
Thank you very much for the presentation. And I want to be very clear that this sounds incredible. Outside the box, first of its kind. And you've done the work. You've designed the program, and I'm very excited about that. That's not our job as a committee. Our job as a committee is to empower you, support you, and to present I know the budget's outside the scope of this, but to present a pathway for the district going forward that's fiscally sound and makes sense for our students. I do have some reservations, and I'm hoping they can be acquiesced tonight and going forward. We are building a lot of new physical space, as well as it's looking like we're building entirely new programming. I do have some reservations about, being all in on this, just because a lot of this is untested. As you said, grade 11 and 12 aren't fully fleshed out. Can we walk through that timeline a little bit, or can someone make me feel a little better just about, again, I know the budget's another discussion, but even just the physical infrastructure and academic infrastructure here, it feels like we're building a school with students in it already. And so I'm just a little nervous about that. Could you speak to that process?
Right. I don't want to go too far off the agenda. So we are here to discuss program of studies, and we can certainly talk about other agenda items in the future. But I will say that CASA design is not unique in the Lynn Public Schools. FDCA was the same design. So when we first it was conceptualized, and then it built up grade level by grade level. So originally FDCA was first 9th grade, and then it was 10th grade, and then it was 11th grade, and this year we'll be graduating our first senior class of FDCA. So that is a standard way of building up the school. In terms of talking about like the infrastructure of the school itself, I would ask that we have that as another agenda item at another time. Right now, we really want to talk about the program of studies, because these courses, whether they're physically in CASA at the FECTO building, or they become other pathways in other schools where all our students are, the pathway itself, the education, can be anywhere, right? And so I don't want to lose sight. You introduced it as such an exciting and engaging program, and all the work that they have done to present here. I think we don't want to lose sight of that. That this idea is to really pull students into the interest that they have. They learn it through the MyCap process, beginning in middle school, and then we offer it to them while they're learning about the different industries.
Thank you very much. Could I ask a clarifying question just about FDCA? I understand that, first we had 9th grade, then we had 10th grade. I taught there. I'm very excited about that. But did we not know that there was a game plan for those kids to get an associate's degree. So did we not have the 12th and 11th grade curriculum when we had only 9th and 10th graders? Does that make sense? I'm just a little concerned, please.
So, so I will say that for FDCA, we had a design that led to an associate's degree on the college side. And then on the LPS side, we had our regular graduation requirements. So we are still following the pathway that all students at LPS follow. So I don't think that the school is undesigned in the sense that we're following the core requirements that we need to follow for all high schoolers as we move up. What is exciting and different are the pathways that we're putting in. We don't have innovation pathways anywhere, so these are our first two innovation pathways. Many high schools have them though. Like we've consulted with Swampscott High School, they've been so helpful to us. So I think it's just new and exciting for Lynn.
Sorry.
Should be a better vice chair.
Member Ortiz McGrath, I'm sorry, unexpected.
So thank you for presenting. I appreciate it. So I know you mentioned student voice and student agency. I'm really interested in hearing on what platforms CASA has provided to get student feedback, but also family feedback in regards to the pathways, kind of your vision, and where you want to go in the near future.
Sure. So we just launched Student Council. We do it by advisory, so each advisory has a rep, and then we have like advisory counselor at large. We're trying to map like the city of Lynn. So we have 8 6th grade reps from each advisory, and then 6 from the 9th grade, and then like 1 rep at large. And then those students meet once a month. So, I mean, we're 5 months in, so like it took us a couple months to get it organized, but that's a big platform. They're using what we call youth participatory action research. So they've already put together a proposal to me and Leanne about some school rules that they'd like to change. So like that is like right there, their student voice. With the pathways, we only spoke with 9th graders at this point of what they want, but we put out the Project Lead the Way course descriptions. We just let them like riff on art, but then like, can you tell us what you would like to take next year? And it did align. Like I said, the 52% of our students want to take that advanced manufacturing pathway. I'll be totally transparent. It probably was like the illusion of choice because we had already started the application, but it did, but they, without knowing that we had already started that pathway, they said this is what we would like to take. Regarding families, we've done 1 to date. We've only been open for 5 months, but we'll do more. But we had our family community coordinator hosted an event and brought families in. We got feedback, so they did it without teachers or administrators, with just our FCC. And they gave us feedback, and then we were able to craft responses back to the families of like questions they had. And then our FCC is planning the second one. So that's what we've done to date after 5 months. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
I just want to add, we also have a grant for $15,000 that will help us involve students and families, and that's part of the grant spending plan.
And my second question, in terms of the program of studies for families, will there be a family evening, family night to allow them to better understand the program of studies, be able to ask questions, and be a part of their child's learning?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Great.
we see that. I mean, part of it would be those meetings with the FCC, but then we'll also do something in the spring when students start selecting courses to just, one, understand it, ask questions, give input on it.
Perfect, thank you.
Member Sadoway.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a couple questions. I kind of want to go back to the hiring that Member Castellanos touched upon. What are the qualifications for the educators that are going to be teaching these courses? And like these questions kind of all go in one. Do we foresee having any complications filling these positions? Are we looking for any long-term subs to fill these complicated? Because it seems like all of these are very specialized. And so I'm just wondering, are we going to open enrollment prior to hiring? How are we going to start this up?
Yeah, for the For both pathways, it's actually one license through DESE. It's the Technology and Engineering licensure. We currently have one teacher. It's a grade 5 to 12 licensure. And with that license, you could teach in engineering pathways and computer pathways. So we have that teacher on board already who could start teaching those full-year courses. Time will tell. I mean, she was my first hire, so I thought it was easy to find her. But I think when you're branding a STEAM academy, a STEM school, she was an internal hire. She had interest from in-district, and she came right along. So not to say that I'm going to poach or steal from those schools, but I do think there's interest out there for those pathways, and it's unique because you can have one license and teach in both pathways.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a lot of questions, but more on day-to-day things about what I'm hearing in the community, but I don't want to go into that, so I will address that another time. So thank you so much. I'm excited about this. I have always been. I am an instructor of Introduction to Engineering Design, and I did teach that over at St. Mary's, so I do know the excitement, but I also understand the chaos that it looks like in a classroom, but it really isn't chaos because they're really working. So it's very difficult to explain. But anyways, you know what I'm talking about because that's what it looks like, and teachers used to think Gately's crazy, but my kids were learning. They were happy. So, and they went on to Wentworth College and got their architectural degrees and so forth and so on. So I just want you to know that chaos is not necessarily a bad thing when you have respect for one another in a classroom. That's most important. But thank you for your presentation.
Project-based learning. Project-based learning.
That's what it's all about. Okay, moving on to new business.
I just have a request to accept a donation of $1,500 for Perry Linway LLC to the LVTI track team.
So move.
Roll call.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Sadowite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Mayor Nicholson? Absent?
I'm going on in new business.
Member Gailey, I make a motion to move communications to new business.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Sadowite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson? Absent.
Superintendent Coleman?
Okay, thank you. Tonight, we have a few events to celebrate and some news to share in a slightly different format. My communication will be accompanied with some images to highlight our good work in LPS. I have to compete with CASA and all their wonderful images. Congratulations to Principal Sean Morris and Lynn Woods Elementary School for being recognized by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best public elementary schools in Massachusetts. This honor reflects the hard work, dedication, and partnership of the entire school community, including students, staff, families, and stakeholders. On their website, U.S. News and World Report said Lynn Woods was chosen based on its strong academic performance and commitment to educating all students. Schools were evaluated on student proficiency in mathematics and reading using state assessment data, with equal consideration given to overall achievement and performance within the context of socioeconomic demographics. This recognition highlights Lynn Woods as a high-achieving school that effectively supports student success across diverse backgrounds. We were thrilled for our students to get another opportunity to shine under the bright lights. Last week, our Lynn English Marine Corps JROTC unit served as the color guard at Governor Healy's State of the State address. This was less than 2 months after the all-city band performed at the State House holiday tree lighting ceremony. We love it when others can see what we already know. LPS students are multi-talented. And, by the way, I had the privilege of standing with Governor Healy and other educators, health professionals, clergy, legislators, law enforcement, Commissioner of Education, and Secretary of Education to support a bill to have protection for places of worship, schools, courthouses, and other public buildings. In a paraphrase of Governor Healy's sentiments, we stand united in community. I just want to remind our community that on the LPS website, under Parent Resources, you will see our Safe and Welcoming Schools for All student policy, commitment, and other supporting resources for our students and families. We are continually updating resources as more become available. And I'm pleased to announce, as a side note, that we are working on a new LPS website that will be launched July 1st, and part of that process is looping in our inspiration from talented teachers and student artists in our district to recreate our logo. Unfortunately, the logo is hard to brand across websites, so we need another one. Okay, so more celebration. LEHS senior Gavin Colon successfully auditioned for the Massachusetts All-State Chorus last Saturday. He received a very high score and will be the second chair tenor. Congratulations to Gavin. We are all very proud of him, along with his choral teacher, Jorge Ibanez. Congratulations to student Adriana Soares, also from Lynn English High School, for earning a silver key in the Massachusetts Regional Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. This is a remarkable accomplishment that reflects Adriana's creativity, dedication, and artistic vision. A special shout out as well to her art teacher, Kristen Paradis, for her guidance, encouragement, and commitment to fostering artistic excellence in our students. Bravo to Adriana and Miss Paradis. I do just want to pause for a minute because if you look behind her, this is the award-winning artwork called Connections that she created. Yes. Okay, from the academics office, the photo on the left was taken at the Hood School when they had a visit from Darius Coombs of the Wampanoag tribe, which is directly tied to their 3rd grade Massachusetts standards. The photo on the right was taken at Lynn Classical, where students had a visit from Janet Applefield, a Holocaust survivor who also visited Lynn English the same day. We had a productive and historical joint meeting of the school committee and city council Tuesday night, the first such meeting under the new city charter. I was pleased to have the opportunity to give an overview of the budget process, and I look forward to collaborating with you, then the City Council, as we work on next year's school budget. It will be challenging, to be sure, which makes it all the more important that we are efficient, transparent, and mindful of how the decisions we make will affect students and families. In more news from the MLE department, access testing is underway across Lynn Public Schools from January 5th through February 27th, with approximately 60% of students tested to date. Pictured above is an access night that Principal Dunn and her staff held, stressing the importance of access testing to their families. Now we will shift gears to the grant funding our MLE department has obtained to support the critical work being done with those students, who represent almost half of all of our students in the district. We appreciate the continued partnership with the state to help us provide high-quality programming at all grade levels. Let's start with our biggest grant, the 180 grant, also known as Title III, which supports core language instruction, extended learning, and family engagement while maintaining federal compliance. It can include summer programming, PD, and extended learning requests submitted from school leaders. Flashlight 360 and Reading A to Z is also funded by this grant. Another grant that supports our work with multilingual learners is Title III Supplement that assists our immigrant children and youth population. Pathway ESOL is an evening class for up to 18 students ages 18 to 22 who feel that a night program is a better option. This program is held at Washington STEM Elementary. We also hosted Soccer Without Borders in August and Sunday professional development and materials for one of our elementary schools. Woo. The FC 348 grant supports multilingual newcomer and homeless families. We have provided support in translation devices, gift cards, and hotspots for students and families to access the curriculum. And finally, our most recent funding is the 181 grant. It supports professional development, leadership institute, licensure support, materials, and supplies. Speaking of budget, I'd like to acknowledge what is on everyone's mind. The DESE Chapter 70 summary for FY27 we received today does show a decline of 435 students from last year. I want to be very clear tonight about our budget philosophy as we create our proposal. We will prioritize people first and foremost. Our strategy for establishing stability in the schools will center on coaching, on-the-job learning, and classroom-embedded professional development because improving practice is the most powerful lever that we have. In the weeks ahead, we will take a close collective look at our spending to ensure that every dollar reflects our mission and our strategic priorities. We are only at the beginning of the process. Next week, I will open our first open budget forum on Wednesday, the February 4th from 6 to 7:30 in person here in this room. And then the following Wednesday, I will host a webinar, February 11th, at the same time from 6 to 7:30. Participants will have an opportunity to learn more about Chapter 70 funding and ask questions. At our February 12th school committee meeting, we will continue to discuss the budget process. Please know that we will move forward with clear and transparent communication as more information becomes available. In special education last month, the Early Childhood Center, the ECC, through Title III funding, hosted a family event in partnership with the MLE department and LPS teachers of the deaf and hard of hearing, entitled Hands of Love, Simple Signs for Everyday Life. This workshop was a combined effort to support multilingual learners who are deaf, hard of hearing, or nonverbal. ELD teacher Lisa Roy and special education teacher Heather Carell led parents in learning ASL signs they can use with their children. Two parents from Lynn Woods were also in attendance to support and model for participants and share their experiences as their daughters use ASL to communicate now in 5th grade. Pictured above are the Linwood students who provided supervision and fun for the ECC students while their parents learned new signs to use with them at home. This was a terrific and meaningful partnership for all involved. Bravo. Special Ed was awarded a grant titled Support Implementing of Updated Regulations Regarding Timeout Practices. It's a federal grant, and this $50,000 grant will be used to provide professional development as well as ensure students have access to sensory spaces to support their needs. And then now we arrive to Dr. Kalela's work. She has provided an overview of the compliance of IEPs. As of January 28th, 94% of our IEPs are in compliance. As you know, this has been an ongoing discussion for many years. This is not a small task. and we are very appreciative to Dr. Colella and the work of her department, including her assistant directors, chairpeople, and special educators. Finally, the Innovation Department is working on Part B application for innovation pathways in advanced manufacturing and information computer science due this month, as well as Project Lead the Way Part B grant application to expand Project Lead the Way course offerings at CASA. Meetings will also soon be underway for the Part B application for the Business Technology CTE pathways at LCHS and LEHS. I think it should be noted that Dr. Gardner is an A in my book, even though she's doing all these Part B submissions. In closing, we would like to highlight some of our staff members and keep this as a standing practice in future meetings. Last month's highlight, Nicole Hagstrom from the Grants Office shared with me that she would like to acknowledge Assistant Directors of Curriculum and Instruction, Jen Rubalclava on the right as the Assistant Director of Elementary Math, and Kristen Tobacco on the left, the Assistant Director for History, who offered a forms training that supported Nicole's work in the submission for the grants ESSA monitoring progress report. Matt Cronin does so much behind the scenes work for us. He is the go-to for all types of data, and he and his team always respond. He played a big role in the program of studies work presented here this evening, and I'd also like to thank him for developing an efficient process in PowerSchool named Graduation Planner for tracking graduation requirements. Matt and his team from the data center met with guidance counselors recently sharing the new system that they're building. This system, as soon as they're completely proficient in it, will be shared with students and families so they can engage in this graduation planning tracker. So thank you, Matt. Jorge is from the IT department, and he is the calm in the chaos whenever technology decides to not cooperate. His patience, expertise, and problem-solving skills keep our work moving forward here at the administration building every day. He not only fixes issues, often before we even realize that we have them, but he does it with professionalism, kindness, and willingness to help that makes all the difference. We're incredibly grateful for the support that Jorge provides. And we're gonna end it with Linda. Linda's presence here at 195 Market Street sets the tone for the Lynn Public Schools. Every smile she offers, every question she fields, every challenge she solves creates a welcoming, safe, and organized environment for staff, students, and families. So thank you, Linda, and thank you to everyone who helps one another in the Lynn Public Schools.
Thank you for that.
Wait, I had some, I want to add some comments on. May I?
Wait one
Go ahead.
second.
Go ahead.
I would also, myself, in new business, we have to cover B. But I would like to congratulate Laura Sanchez, Executive Director of Multilingual Education, for getting all those grants. For Christina Colella, who we all already applauded, and finally Dr. Shannon Gardner for all that she does. She is an A, not a B. So under new, excuse me, Member Pena.
I just wanted to echo on, it's exciting to hear when we get a lot of grants and updates, but can we hear from Laura on the process of you know, she's the MLE director, and how that came about, you know, applying for these grants and all the other principals that are involved? Can you share with us, Laura? I'd like to know. Can we? Go ahead, please. And thank you for your hard work.
So we have about 71, as of like Friday, we have 7,100 English language learners. And through our GEMS, every year, they highlight what grants we're going to be able to,
Yeah.
they highlight how many grants we're going to be able to submit for. The 181 grant that I submitted for the last 2 years, the concentration has been the ESL hub for Lynn Public Schools. And it's been really rewarding for not just our students, but our teachers. Our teachers are benefiting from all of the instructional strategies. Some of these student outcomes because we have some connected student outcomes, if you look at the school year 2025 accountability data, our department in elementary school and the non-high school and high schools, we've achieved all of the goals that we've met, like
Yeah.
3 out of 4 goals in elementary, non-high school, and 4 out of 4 in the high schools. Our language development progression has continued, and DESI's really proud of that. And we're really proud of all of the schools and school leaders and our teachers. They're supporting our students with language development, not just in ESL, ELD, but they're supporting us. Our SEI teachers are supporting language development across like the entire day for students. So it's easy to receive these grants. Like, for instance, the 181 grant, we're not going to be awarded for it this year, and we weren't awarded the 0348 grant because of the immigration and all of the political climate. But it was very rewarding to spend every single money, every single penny. Nothing has been left on the table for any of those grants. Everything has gone to teachers, students, families, and it's been really instrumental for our school and our teachers and everyone.
Thank you. Another question, when will you provide the data on, the achievement of the student? When will we get updated with the data? When will that data be
So
updated?
the students who are testing right now with the access, it'll end at the end of February. We'll get those results later on. Actually, we'll probably get them May. Yeah,
April.
May.
Okay, May,
They're
yeah.
still embargoed in May.
Yeah, so it'll probably be either during the summer or immediately in the fall, depending on when we get the results to be able to share.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for the hard work.
Thank you, Laura.
It's exciting to hear that.
Yes.
Money, money, money. Grants. Thank
Okay.
you.
Moving on, under new business, I would like a request for executive session to approve executive session minutes from meetings held on November 13th, 2025, December 18th, 2025, and January 8th, 2025. Could I have a motion
Still move.
and second?
A second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Sadowite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson, absent.
Can I have a motion for a request to go to executive session to discuss strategies with respect to collective bargaining relative to vice principals? The discussion of these matters which involve strategy in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on and compromise the bargaining position of the public body. Could I have a motion
Still move.
and a second?
Second.
Roll
Mem-
call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Sadowite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson, absent.
Okay, so moved. From executive session?
Second. Oh, we got waiting for member Lenny Pena and
Tristan.
Tristan. Oh, no, he's right there. Yeah.
Motion be back in regular
Member
session.
Castellanos?
Roll call.
Member
Motion to adjourn.
Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Sadowite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson, absent.
Second? Yes.
Motion to,
I apologize. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wait, I don't know where I was just, sorry, me and members.
We need the motion.
Wait, no, sorry. We need a motion to approve the executive session.
Second.
Memorandum
memorandum.
With the vice principal.
MOU of agreement
Second.
with the collective for vice principals. I don't have it in front of me, so.
Second.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Sadowite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson, absent.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Roll call?
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Ortiz McGrath?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson, absent.
I got
Thank you
pulled through
very
like
much.
6 conversations. I was in like 5 conversations at once, so.